Hey guys, Brassvax here. My mouth is on fire from eating too much kimchi. Someone is using an angle grinder directly outside of my window, and today we're going to be talking about weapon-mounted lights, especially budget weapon-mounted lights. Weapon-mounted lights, or WMLs, are a critical part of any rifle. You can't really shoot what you can't see. You can, nothing's really stopping you, but that's how you blast a drunk college student at 3 a.m. who went into the wrong house and ended up with manslaughter charges. But even outside of PID, there's a lot of utility for a weapon-mounted light. You can peer into dark, shadowed areas during the day. You can light up an interior that isn't quite visible to you presently due to lighting contrast, or more importantly, you can use it as an umbrella light that is pointed at the ceiling for your apartment when the power goes out for 3 days and you need to play Magic the Gathering to stay above boredom. Right now, the weapon-mounted light industry has never been in a better place. Historically, you had to pick between candela, or essentially the focus of the beam, how far you can push the light, or the flood of the light. That is the ability for the light to, flood, giving you more situational awareness. Nowadays, lights have a ton of candela, enough to rotisserie a small animal with prolonged exposure, but also bulb design that allows for sufficient flood to function in situations where you need that flood in situational awareness. But this all comes with a cost, as you guys know, and that cost is cost. While the performance, durability, mounting interface gives you a lot of value, it becomes a bit silly to have a light that costs more than some budget rifles strapped to your rifle. So today I want to talk about the king of budget lights, the Streamlights. Back in the day when I was getting into this whole drug addiction, these guys were my old standby, the Streamlight Protac series. Real quick, since these are legacy products now and you shouldn't really buy them, for $100 you could get this thing called a Protac. It's a surefire mount patterned light, 600 lumens, 20,000 candela. Not amazing, but it got the job done, especially back then. Shortly after that, they released the Streamlight Protac HLX. This uses 18650s instead of just CR123s. It's a bit chunky, she's a bit large, but hey, that means she's reliable, right? And this light essentially had the same performance of the then top-of-the-line Surefire M600U. 1500 lumens, 20,000 candela, and can use either 18650s or CR123s as backups, aka dual fuel, which has a slight interesting tangent. I think that's copywritten because Streamlight has to use the word multi-fuel on all of their marketing, but then also Coleman owns the rights to dual fuel, so I'm wondering if Surefire pays royalty to Coleman.
Why doesn't it work?
Anyways, that brings us back to the current meta. High candela, medium lumen, long throw lights that can kind of do all of the things. Like I said though, stupid expensive. So what we really needed is a modern Streamlight HLX, and we got one, the Protac 2.0. At first glance, this is exactly what we wanted, an HLX with more firepower. Except this thing kind of sucks. It's like someone at Streamlight saw the wish list, we want Surefire tape compatibility, and why not throw in a DS00 NCAP type analog instead of the fused version that the original has, and of course we want more chooch. But then they took this wish list, and without really understanding why people wanted these things, implemented all of them in exactly the wrong way. The tape switch, while looking like and literally fitting a Surefire tape switch, doesn't actually work with a Surefire tape switch. You're stuck with the Streamlight ecosystem of tape switches, which at the time was the same thing that the HLX came with. It also uses this weird aftermarket battery that I've never ever seen before or since, meaning you can't use CR123s or any of the batteries that are more common. The light itself is literally the size of a 120mm mortar shell, don't look it up. That being said, all of this wouldn't really matter if the light performed. But it doesn't. Someone mistook the desire for more power to mean more lumens, and all this light does over the existing, cheaper, smaller HLX is cram 500 more lumens on the top of this at the exact same candela. This was, by the way, roughly in 2021, 2022 if I recall, so the demand for high candela lights had already existed for closing in on half a decade at this point. So that light was a major disappointment. I bought one without really checking the stats, saw it, and then threw it in the corner. Here comes Goon beam though. Yes, I'm not joking, Goon beam. To make what we actually wanted, a high candela HLX analog. So same price, $120, 700 lumens, and an eye-watering 80,000 candela. We did it, chat. And yeah, I've owned one of these for a bit now. It's literally an HLX with the word Goon splattered on the side. This sort of implies that Streamlight might just private label all of their stuff and it's produced by a third party and then this guy went to the third party, or maybe he's buying HLXs and ripping out the guts and redoing. I don't know. Regardless, who cares who it makes it? This outperforms your mod lights, your Malkovs, and it costs a fraction of the cost. Nice. And that was almost the end of the story. So much so that I did a whole ass video on it and then realized, well, Streamlight got their shit together maybe 2 years too late, but whatever. They finally got it together and came out with this guy. Almost identical to the Protac 2. It's the exact same light as we mentioned before, except instead of a weird battery and a shitload of flood, we get 1,000 lumens, but 50,000 candela. Nice. It's about time. And this thing is really impressive for value. While most high-end lights typically only come with a Picatinny rail mount, which most people are going to look to replace, and a clicky end cap, this thing comes with a clicky end cap, the DS00 knockoff, as well as the ability to use that aforementioned plug-in tape switch. Except now, Streamlight has finally come out for a little bit with their TLR-style dual-switch tape pad, which is actually compatible with this. Not quite as good as if this thing couldn't just work with Surefire pattern tape switches, but we'll take it. This thing also comes with like an Arasaka M-Lock mount at home kind of thing, this guy right here, and it's actually insane value for the money when you consider how much you're getting in this $130 package, when these mounts typically go for about $50. And that's about it. Buy the Goon Beam high candela version if you want maximum performance per price, 80,000 candela, 700 lumens, but you miss out on all the free accessories that come with the Streamlight version. You also need to wait a bit because these don't ship instantly, unlike the Streamlights, which you can find on Amazon, which means if you have Amazon Prime, due to the power of Jeffrey Bezos' bald head, can be shipped to your door with Prime in less than 12 hours. All right, before you go off and buy a Streamlight, you got to be aware that these things are all named incredibly confusingly, like they almost don't even want you to buy this product. So there's the Protac rail mount series, which is the single cell Protac. You don't want that. There's the Protac rail mount series 2, which you also don't want. That just denotes 2 cells. That light is distinctly out of date at this point. There's the Protac 2.0 rail mount series, which is the light we discussed earlier that has all the features, but none of them really make any sense. You don't want the 2.0 either. You also want to be careful when you go online and buy an HLX that you don't buy an outdated HLX. The old HLX, 1500 lumens, very low candela. You want the new HLX, which is named exactly the same thing. There's also the HLX Pro, which is exactly the same as the HLX, except it happens to have one more doohickey with the package. Also, the HLX, which, high lumen, I think extreme, is not even the highest lumen light they produce anymore. So the whole naming system is incredibly scuffed. I'll put affiliate links down below. It's an affiliate link, which means when you buy it, you give me a little bit of money. It'll make sure you click the right thing. All right, cool. Awesome. That's it. I'll see you guys all same time, same place next week.
How'd you start this without a lighter? How'd you start this without a lighter?
Matches in my truck.
Nice.
This is about to become a disaster.
With the dog. Just going in the right direction, pulled into the fire. There we go. It's funny.